pleasure to speak with you. So first things first, how are you?
I'm always doing great. What about you?
Yeah, no complaints. Cannot complain. How about the band as a whole? What's the overall vibe at the moment? Because obviously we're approaching May 3rd and the release of the debut album Ghosts.
We are all super excited to release the album debut. We have been working on this so hard since like we started a year ago or something, and we are super excited to get it rolling finally and start touring and so on.
Are you at that stage yet where, and I always find this quite fascinating amongst bands and artists, where you're so close to release that you're almost not enjoying it anymore, and you just want to get it out and send it out into the world so that people can fully listen and judge it?
Well, for myself, speaking for me, I don't think we are at that point because of two very important things. First of all, it's our management, which is taking care about all the release things and the label and so on. So we are quite relaxed on our end. And also because exams are coming at the conservatory and I'm super stressed out about that instead. So yeah, it's like I don't have time to worry about all the things.
Ah, thank goodness that so much is being taken care elsewhere, because how important is that other aspect of your life? Best of luck with that. Um,
Thank you. No, absolutely. I mean, getting the band to be taken care of in other hands, that's the best thing that could ever happen. I've been working for my own band for a very long time, and it's exhausting, and it's actually a job for which I was not prepared. So I will not be doing that anymore.
Fair enough. What does it mean to you to get this release out?
Well, a lot of things. It's like finally jump into the professional state of, aside from recording from home to other people and being a mercenary to other bands and other artists, it's like jumping finally to the professional step of music as part of a band that is working their asses off to make it happen, with a very, very professional management, very, very important label and so on. So it's like it there's a huge difference with the past works in bands that I've been doing before. And the weird thing is that I don't feel any different to the person that I was yesterday. Like some big things are really happening outside. We're doing a lot of interviews. We are doing a lot of press. The release, everybody's very hyped with the release. The label is very, very stressed out and very hyped. The management also, and I just feel like I don't know. It's like it's so well done from the work of these people who are working so hard that I don't feel as if it's a complete mess, that I have to run behind, that everything is a disaster, as my previous releases with other bands that always have been like we had to re-record because this is not sounding good enough. The engineer made a mess. We had to redo this. Then we have to push the dates and so on. So that hasn't happened, and it feels like super calm, and that is a huge difference.
It's incredible that you get to experience it this way, because obviously, as you've said, you've experienced the chaos side of things as well. So it's great that it is going smoothly and long. Hopefully, it continues to, as well. What, 1 week out from the release. But let's go back a bit here, focusing on Pirate Queen as a whole, and specifically the vision. Was it clear from the start what you wanted to do?
Yeah, we wanted to make power metal, but also with hints of other music, in a way that the music would be always shaped by the stories that we want to tell. So we chose the pirate theme because, first of all, it's cool. Second of all, it's all about the freedom. Pirates and metal have always been about freedom, and we thought it matched really well. And also, pirates have this kind of fantasy. You have historic pirates, and then you have fantasy pirates, that you go from Pirates from the Caribbean to, I don't know, Peter Pan or One Piece, for example. So we wanted to have like a big space in which to exploit all the music genres that we would like to exploit. Like for instance, if tomorrow we decide to make a black metal album, we could be able to talk about the sea monsters, and it would fit somehow. So that is what we wanted, and we wanted to do it professionally. So we all wanted to be part of a professional band and to work in that field. So it was pretty much clear since the very beginning. What wasn't so clear was the stories that we were going to tell, if it was going to be a conceptual album from the beginning to the end, or if it was going to be short stories instead. And also the characters. The characters are quite decided, but also we didn't know that reality would shape them so much in the fantasy part. Like, for example, when we met in person, we didn't know how the relationships were going to be because we only met through the internet. And that is something that was totally going to change the way that the characters might be perceived and how the characters will work depending on our actual personalities and how we bonded in real life.
I find that section of the Pirate Queen picture so fascinating. You know, the lore that exists around the characters, the stories that you are trying to tell, how live action role playing comes into it. So those early ideas, how did they transform into what we have now?
Well, at the beginning, the characters were shaped like only a couple main traits, as when you start playing Dungeons and Dragons, and then you create your character sheet, and then you get so much involved into it, and the character grows from what it was and its lore of the beginning into the campaign. Like the campaign changed that. For example, the character of Destiny Grieflord was going to be, you know, this badass, should I say, a woman who is like the best at fighting and so on. But my actual personality is a little bit goofy on the side, just like a little bit goofy, and that is going to be added to the character because well, we didn't expect that to be, but it's so much of my character that it's impossible to avoid. And also I have a terrible sense of orientation, and that wasn't going to be in the character because it's the captain. but Jesus Christ, I am so terrible at getting directions. And when we went to record the 2 videos in Barcelona, we roamed around the city for, I don't know, maybe 45-50 minutes for a ride that should have been like 15. And yeah, that's something. We had so much fun during that ride, thank God, because if not, it would have been awful. And yeah, we had so much fun that it's now part also of the character. Like, it might get hit in the head by something and lose completely its ability to get orientated to something. So those are things that have been shaped during our time together.
As you said, it's real life just sneaking into fantasy.
Yeah, totally.
What were some of the early challenges you faced with kind of getting Pirate Queen off the ground?
First of all, we wanted to get the perfect lineup of people who not only played good, but also wanted to get involved in a band that was going to be demanding in matters of time and experience and in general, or the general requirements. Because everybody wants to be part of the band, but whenever you ask them what they're willing to do to make that a reality, then things change. Because everybody thinks about a tour and says, oh yeah, I totally want to go on tour. But then you say it's going to be 30 days in a van stuck together. It's going to be hard to shower. It's going to be hard to go to the bathroom. Are you willing to give up, I don't know, your day job for this? Then people think about it twice instead. So we really wanted to get professional. We are not on that touring for 30 days straight yet. We are not in that phase just yet, but probably next year it will happen. So we wanted people who would be also very nice people to be around with, because we're gonna get on the ship forever, and some things might happen, some things that are not like the best, and that's human relationships that will happen. So we wanted to, you know that the people with whom we're going to work were reliable, and any issue that might happen would be easily fixed in case it happens. It's better if it doesn't happen, but if it does, how are we going to react? And that was very important. And also another thing would be like recording open fire was also a challenge because it made all the computers crash for some reason. It was very hard to record that song because every time somebody got to work into it, the computer crashed or the person became sick or something. So that was interesting.
Cursed. Almost like it's cursed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally.
All right, we're turning our attention to Ghosts and your vision for what you wanted the record to be. When did it start coming together and you realized, okay, we've got songs here, we've got the makings of an album?
We really wanted to start with an album that would be like the presentation of what we do. We didn't want to go full into conceptual because people will probably not listen to the whole thing. Most people lately in these times they listen to a couple songs and then jump to another artist and so on. So we wanted to make like short presentations of this is what we do, but also to get people to know that the songs will be different between themselves. So we already knew somehow that we wanted to make an album that was like that. So it was like, we have to go fully into this. And whenever we have enough songs, we're going to make an album. And that happened real quick because that was the goal since the very beginning. And I think we got a pretty solid work, actually.
Nice and smooth. And I love what you're saying, Neg. You are aware that, as you said, people want to chop things up. People want to hear you on a playlist. They've got to be able to stand alone as singles that you can listen to without, at least at this early stage. But from a creative perspective, what moments throughout the entire process of creating the album were quite satisfying for you?
Well, whenever you get the first final mixes that are actually never the final mixes, but when you get the first songs to be done, like Pirates from the Sea was one of the first ones to get because it was the video that we were going to record. And when you get to listen to it, you say like, oh my God, this is sounding great because the sound engineer that we hired is incredible. He's the guitar player for Bone Carver, a black metal band from Spain that is quite popular in Europe, and he did an amazing job, and it really sounds incredible. And when you get the first final rough mix of the first song of something that you created, is like, okay, this is going places.
That moment, yeah, it's a very special moment, isn't it? Can't quite describe it. People that never quite experienced it, but of course, as you said, it's never quite done. But on the opposite side of that, what about some of the more challenging, personal challenging moments of the entire process for you?
Well, we had a couple moments in which we had to re-record some stuff, but not in a way that everything is done and we have to re-record because it doesn't sound good, as it has happened to other bands before. But more like, okay, we don't like how this song is turning out. Like, I don't like the structure, or it's repeating a lot more than it should, and we have to rework the whole thing. And whenever, because at the beginning we wanted to deliver the files sooner, but for various reasons related to computer crashing, we couldn't. And whenever you have to redo the thing because you want it to be perfect and you're not gonna let things be like low quality or mid quality because you really want to go for it and do the thing the best that you can. I'm not gonna say perfect, even though I already said it, because perfection is really, really impossible to reach. But excellence, whenever you're aiming for excellence, you cannot let those things you cannot let the things sink in. You are not allowed somehow to say, okay, I don't really like the structure of this song, but I'm gonna leave it like this because we have a date for the release or something. We really have to make it good as it can get. But having to do the work again is like a little bit demotivating, but then you get to listen to the final mix and it's good again.
It makes it worth it because then you're
Yeah,
hearing the good what that work resulted
absolutely.
in.
Absolutely.
What do you hope that listeners take away from the overall album experience?
Me personally, I would love people to really feel the atmospheres of the songs, because each song has a specific atmosphere, and I would love people, I would love if people really noticed the work that is behind that, and like if they are listening to Open Fire, they want to open fire, and if they're listening to Pirates from the Sea, they want to go on a boat, and if they're listening to Ghost, they feel like, okay, this is there's stuff moving around my house, and I don't own a cat, so that would be the best case scenario. And of course, people wanting more and more. We've seen lately that there are a lot of comments on YouTube of people really appreciating the music, and that's always wonderful.
That has been, yeah. I was looking at some myself this morning as well, and getting the general vibe that people seem to be really enjoying it. Does that give you some? Does that give you confidence in how you think the
Yeah.
full thing will be received?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very very weird, because in the past, every time that I have released a song or whatever music related, it's always the friends that give you support, not even friends sometimes, and it's like, okay, yeah, and I worked so hard on a song that took me maybe, I don't know, a lot of time to compose and to work on it. I released it. It got like maybe 200 views on YouTube and a few comments, and it's always really sad, because you work so hard on this. It's your dream. It's all that you've got. You're sharing a part of your soul with people, and then seeing that something is really happening for Pirate Queen, when you see that people are commenting a lot, they are asking for a tour with their favorite bands, they're asking you to go to the countries and so on. It's like, oh my God, it's this is happening. This is real. It happens. It's possible. The everything that I've been working for my entire life is finally giving its fruit, and it's truly it sometimes I just think about it, and I really want to cry because it's a very deep connection, the one that you create with the people that enjoy your music. And yeah, I can't wait to hit the stage with the girls, and to share this experience with everybody.
I'm glad you're getting that from it, because, as you said, it can be incredibly disheartening when you've thrown so much into something and not really see it getting anywhere. Even though you'll know it's not your fault, it's not because it's bad music, it simply is the way of the world. It is hard to get ears on your music. So that people are listening to Pirate Queen and enjoying it is simply phenomenal. And of course, you're talking about live as well. So talk to me a little bit about Pirate Queen Live, in particular, how you go about bringing the vision of Pirate Queen to a stage.
We are working really hard on a very, very special show, because we want to bring something new. I mean, there are two things that are very important to Pirate Queen. One of them is creating atmospheres with the songs, because the stories shape the songs and not the opposite way around. And that's the musical aspect. And the stage presence is very important. We are not only going to be dressed as pirates and play the music and go home, because lately also shows are so well that people can do it from home, and if you have a big screen, you can almost feel as if you were at a concert. Of course, it's never the same thing, but imagine you buy a ticket to Metallica, for example, and you're never going to get the first row, or maybe you get stuck like behind a super big guy, and you don't see a thing. So we would love people to participate into the concert in a way that it's not only a concert, but also like an activity for everybody that is going to be there. So we want to mix live role playing with our show, in a way, like, for example, soft combat battles in the public with LARP weapons that we are getting. For example, that's some ideas that popped into our minds, and maybe a treasure hunt or something that is going to be like fun for everybody, to make the show a little bit bigger in matters of including the people with the music and having so much fun. We want the experience to be memorable, because you never know, especially at the first stages of the band, you never know if the sound engineer that you're going to get is going to be good, or if you're going to have enough budget to bring your own. You don't know the acoustics of a specific venue, and you never know if the sound quality is going to be the best, because even if you bring your guys and you are in a very cool stage or venue or something, things will always happen. it always happens. There's something, and I'm cursed. Every time that I've played live, there's something that breaks, something that doesn't work. Somebody forgets to do a very important thing, and it's usually the engineers, even if they are like from the venue and so. So yeah, we know that certain things might happen, and we want to make the experience super enjoyable nonetheless and memorable. So yeah, we are still working on it because we are not sure how people are going to react to that. Because people in metal concerts, usually they mosh, they have fun and so on, but I am not sure if people are gonna go full into what we are offering, or if they are gonna need a little bit to accept it as how it's going to be. So we have to study the audience a little bit and then see what we will do, if we go completely full into it, or if we do a little bit less for people to get involved or not. We really have to think about it, but that's some ideas.
It's fantastic to hear because it offers a unique experience. You are right. I would initially agree and worry that I'm not sure how audience will react to that. But that more comes from the fact that theming pirate metal, as it were, we have a few bands out in the world that kind of do a similar thing, but they tend to lean towards a comedy angle more than anything else, and that people might naturally just presume Pirate Queen is a comedy band to begin with, and then they'll need to listen and realize that's not quite the case.
I mean, comedy is an important part because having fun is also is something that is very, very important. We have fun while making music, and there are
Absolutely.
some things that are like very pirates are fun in general. You always get the fun part of pirates because they're always drunk, and I don't know, it's just something that you could assume, and you could be actually right about it, and there's nothing wrong with it. But we would like we would love to do like something like very specific, not only comedy, how we're pirates and we are drinking and we give you some of our drinks and so on. We would like to make it on a bigger scale. Maybe people would think about it later, not only during the gig, but like maybe doing some kind of game that will last until the next concert and so on. So we would really like to have those things and make it serious in a way.
Oh, I can't wait to see what you come up with. But for now, obviously, Ghost is May 3rd. The remainder of 2024, what does it look like for Pirate Queen at the moment? Is it just to try and be as busy as possible and do as many shows as you can?
Yeah, I mean, we are first, it's the release, which is super close, and promoting that release, and then touring as much as we can. We have been already confirmed to a couple of festivals, the Full Metal Holiday in Mallorca, No Sleep After Christmas Fest. We were just confirming to another festival, but I cannot say yet which one it is. And yeah, we are confirming as many gigs as possible to promote this album and to take Pirate into the next stage.
But I imagine as well, the 2025 will be just as busy because, of course, we're already in May. Most of the festivals already booked this year, so you've got to look further ahead than that. But either way, it's super, super exciting. So, last one, when you reflect on the entire album creation process, looking back to what you've done over the past year to 2 years and how you've gotten to this point, what puts a smile in your face?
The fact that last year by this time I was working a half-time job at an axe throwing venue, a really cool job, but I was there just like, okay, what am I doing with my life? I've always wanted to be a musician. And now I'm only worrying about release dates, press, interviews, and the conservatory, which is also something that I wanted to be doing for a very long time. And I'm now finally starting the career of classical guitar. So pretty much my life right now revolves around music. And for Pirate Queen, it was just an idea a year ago, and now we have so many views on YouTube, on Spotify, a lot of comments. People are really interested in the band. We're doing a lot of press, so it's like okay, things happen for real, and we are confirming a lot of festivals like the Full Metal Holiday. For me, it was something completely out of sight last year. because it's a festival organized by the guys who also organize Wacken. So it's like completely mind blowing. To last year, I was thinking what I was doing with my life. This year, I am glad to say that my band is confirmed to the Full Metal Holiday, and this is just the beginning. It's not something that has exploded, and this is the best that we can get. Hopefully not. So it's the beginning, and we already are confirmed to all these super awesome places. And yeah, we have to work a lot and to give our best to make it to keep it.
It's phenomenal. All of this, and the album isn't even out yet. The debut album is not out yet. We are, as of the time recording, 1 week out from it. It is Ghosts, and it is a phenomenal piece of work that will take this world by storm. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me over. It has been a wonderful interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website, where reviews, news, and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at GBHBL. Just search for GBHBL and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.